Welcome back to the 7th grade mustache. On today's episode, we'll be speaking about a very important document that was released 2 weeks ago. And this document was about, or it covers, the rise of technocracy, not just in America, but around the world, and what tech companies are doing to ramp up their efforts to combat China's grasp on the world's economy and technology. But before we get into that, I want to take a moment and pay respect to a man known as Chadwick Boseman, Black Panther, Jackie Robinson, James Brown, Thurgood Marshall. He played all these different people in movies. And he was a very important figure in black history because nowadays there's a lot of information out there. There's a lot of imagery that is about cooning and self-hatred and subversive things when it comes to Negroes. So I want to take this moment to respect the passing of Chadwick Boseman. I'm going to take a moment of silence here. Rest in peace, Chad. All right, let's get on with the business. So, this document that was released a couple weeks ago, it talks about a couple of things I think everybody needs to be paying attention to. This document talks about how they want to get rid of legacy systems. And legacy systems are the things that you and I do every day and we take for granted.
Yes.
And for example, legacy systems are things like owning an automobile, individual automobile ownership. Everybody has a car. A lot of people have cars, and they don't really think about how much of a privilege that is to be an automobile owner. You can go wherever you want, whenever you want. Okay, these people that are running these tech companies are in bed with the federal government, and they want to get rid of this. Another legacy system that we take for granted every day is paying for things with cash and credit cards, but more importantly, cash. Recently, there was this thing going around where they're talking about the Federal Reserve is having a shortage of coins. No, they don't. They don't have a shortage of coins. They don't have a shortage of precious metals. They don't have a shortage of anything. That's false. Okay? This is being done on purpose because they want people to get used to the idea of not using cash. And they want people to get used to the idea of not even using credit cards, but using an online wallet like PayPal, like Cash App, all right, like Zelle. They're getting you used to paying for things on your phone. The whole idea of not using cash, of not using a credit card, and depending on your phone to make payments, not even your desktop or laptop computer, but your phone. And the reason for that is the continent of Africa has a combined GDP, gross domestic product, of $55 billion. Now, there are numbers that say that only 20% of Africans have bank accounts, but 70% of Africans have cell phones. Now, there is an app that many people in several African countries, but mostly in Kenya, they're using this app, and it allows them to pay for things digitally. So these people are becoming accustomed to paying for things with their phone, not even with a bank account. So they're finding ways to like charge up, and get accumulate money, but like pay for things through their phone. And so what's happening is these Chinese tech companies went to these African countries and found a way to beta test this on the African population to see how it would work outside of China because they're already doing it with China. But let me back up because I'm getting a little ahead of myself here. So these legacy systems that we're so used to, another one is in-store, in-purpose purchases. So
In person, yeah, yes.
going to a store in person and paying for something in person. That's a face-to-face, human-to-human transaction. Now, they want you to get used to doing everything online, everything through your phone, because everything can be tracked and controlled because you're not paying for things with cash. Again, the whole idea of trying to wean you off of cash is not some eco-friendly concept. It is a method of control and tracking. So these legacy systems that you're used to are also things that give you autonomy as a human being. So if we can take away the autonomy, if we can take away, this sense of individuality, we then replace that with convenience. So this is something that they're doing by making you okay, what they do is these companies, tech companies, if you're wondering who they is, these tech companies, what they're doing is they they give you convenience and they masquerade it as this sexy thing that's glossy and slick with a nice font and bright colors, and they make it like shiny happy things so that like children are attracted to, that you will not resist. But under the hood is something very sinister motives. All right, but let's go into this document a little bit further. What you got, man?
Look, it's real simple. We had a similar show in the past, but when this document comes out, it clears up. It gives you very specific companies. There's three major companies coming out of China doing this stuff. And for instance, the example that Roscoe gave of the cash, they've already tried. They already did it in India. In India, they really did have a cash shortage. And so you have all these people that already have these different PayPal like options, and they all got cell phones, like you said. And so what happens when they just decide to go to straight digital, which is what they're doing? Nobody's in opposition of it because the government can track you, but at the same time, it's convenient for you. So by doing this, you're giving up your rights. Another big one that was super deep when Roscoe started out, he was referring to getting rid of cars. Now that sounds like that's impossible.
Yeah,
That's not
yeah,
a,
right.
yeah, but it's not. It's really not, especially when you look at these. You have a lot of rideshare. You have two or three major rideshare companies in America,
Right.
but you have one major rideshare company in the world out of China buying up all these different
And they
other
they
small
are touting themselves as the largest transportation
transportation
provider
company
in the
in the world.
world.
Yes. And so by doing this, what they're doing is, wait a minute. Right now, you got a lot of these broke kids, and these are the ones who are protesting. You got a lot of kids who are broke, can't afford a car. So what they're going to do is offer ride share, make it cheaper, make this a normal thing. Make this where, like, if you go out with a girl, whatever, you do a ride share. But then eventually, they're going to phase out humans driving, and it's going to be autonomous. And so
Autonomous vehicles.
so
See, so hold up. Let me pause you for a second. So what's going on here is that they're making people think that this gig economy, that this Uber Eats, that's this Lyft
mhm,
and like
mhm.
rideshare stuff is the way forward. But all they're doing is slow walking you toward autonomous vehicles. Not
But
it's hold on, one thing, one last thing. It's not autonomy for humans. Okay, what it is control for humans. Go ahead,
but
man.
even worse, you're doing away with 30-40% of the jobs because look at it. You have railroad, you have trains that'll be autonomous. You'll
Yep,
have trucks on the interstate that'll be autonomous, and
correct.
then all of a sudden, even your regular driving. So then you won't. So a car will become like a utility. What a utility is something that is very important, expensive, but has very low
But it's
overhead. They don't make a lot of
dangerous.
but
Driving is
it,
so
yes,
dangerous.
and so they trick you into believing they're doing this for your own good. That this is that human error is causing 75% of the car accidents out there, and it's much safer if we do it.
But you
So
know what?
these
But
these
but talk about the mentality behind that, because so what they're doing is they're becoming helicopter parents. They're
yeah,
helicopter
yeah,
parenting the
no,
world.
they're,
They're
they're selling
nerfing
that.
the world.
Yeah, they're selling that to you, but that's the excuse. If you don't believe it, the same thing just happened with COVID. I'm seeing all kinds of people wearing gloves. I'm seeing all kinds of people wearing masks, even out. Okay, it's one thing when you're in a store wearing a mask. It's another thing when you're walking your dog wearing a mask. So when you recognize that, okay, we're so afraid of being sick Here's the thing. Like I said, this was actually we're supposed to have a special episode about some common events. And one of the things that me and Roscoe talked about, if these masks stop the virus, why did people in China get it in the first place? Because they've been wearing masks since Michael Jackson. They've been wearing masks since 1983. Masks don't stop this shit. Now, and the one thing that does stop it, see, I got a crazy black mama. You know, y'all hear me talk about my mama. Well, so she like, baby, when you drive down, make sure you give me some Lysol. Like, Mom, you can't find Lysol anywhere. But then it dawned on me, Lysol is alcohol based. Alcohol would kill this. So if somebody's coughing and sneezing, just spray some Lysol in the air and go on about your business. And that's the one. And I ain't talking about the wipes, because even Fauci with his lying celebrity wannabe ass is like, no, you know, touching is not transported by touching. It's not given out by touching. It's so minuscule. This is airborne. So yeah, why is the one product that would help us right now, Lysol, good old fashioned spray Lysol, impossible to find? Because this was not by accident. But on the flip side, now let's flip it back to the cars and the driving, because this is really important that you kids understand this, is that they're trying to go towards socialism and communism. And
There it is.
and by doing this, by removing your ability to own property, they don't want you to own a house, they want you to rent. They don't want you to own a car, they want you to be driven around. Then eventually you've given up everything and you've walked right into socialism.
Full stop. Full stop. Agenda 21 is a plain clothes vanilla version of socialism. Okay, Agenda 21. When you hear that, that's a buzzword, and they use
Yes.
words like sustainability. That's doublespeak. Do not fall for the okie doke. What they're doing is they're getting people out of the quote unquote wild lands and into the city. Okay, they're making it harder and harder for people to spend time and own land outside of cities. And they're driving people toward the cities. They're pushing people towards the cities so that they can be corralled and controlled much easier. But see, what you're saying, what you're probably thinking to yourself is like, oh, this guy is being an alarmist. No, I read between the lines. I can understand doublespeak. And this is what
hold it,
you're
Roscoe.
seeing. Hold on, brother.
But
The thing is, though, is that when you look at programs like Agenda 21, it goes hand in hand with what we're talking about in this document. This document talks about how e-commerce is making people cocooned into their homes and in their heads. It's cocooning people away from each other. It's cocooning people even away from their vehicles, so they'll drive less. So they'll want the convenience of autonomous vehicles so that they don't have to worry about road rage. All right. All this convenience being packaged in a sexy container to get you to want to stay in the city, you know, and not drive your car and pay for everything with the digital wallet. All of
stay in the
this
house.
goes together.
Don't go out. Well, but hold it. There's something you said. I want to back up just a little bit. You said read between the lines. You ain't got to read between the lines. Read the motherfucking lines themselves, because you're missing the obvious, because it's
The
in
fine
your face.
print.
Yeah, you ain't got to read the fine print. It's in bold letters, and people don't realize that they're not even being manipulated. Because let's talk about these riots. So you want to just burn everything down and start over, but there's an interview out there about one of the guys that he was a weatherman underground. So for y'all who don't know who the weathermen underground were, there was a pervasive group of white people that did that like the Black Panthers. They was blowing shit up. They wanted to be social.
Just call it plain. They were domestic terrorists.
I ain't got to that part yet. So so you check this out. So you got this weatherman underground. So people who don't know, they blew up the Capitol building. They tried to blow up the White House. These people, these white boys and white 2 or 3 white women were successful in doing this shit.
And now
here's
these people are professors at college universities.
Yes, only one of them went to jail, and he's still in jail.
Yes.
And the other one is friends with Barack. That's why a lot of these white folks got crazy. Like, hey, Barack is pardoning this guy, and this guy's friends with Clinton. But hear me out. The point is this: they're interviewing one of these guys, and one of the ones that left early on. He said, you know, we're sitting here, and this is years ago, because at the time there was 250 million people in America, and they were deciding, and they all went to, like, they didn't go to Berkeley, they went to like Cambridge. They all went to the same school, and that's where they're all professors now, and they're talking about what do we do with the 25% of the population that are diehard capitalists.
Harvard. Cambridge is in the UK.
Please forgive me, but it was, I know it wasn't Harvard, but it doesn't matter. It might be Columbia, but okay. And so that was their conversation. what do we do with the 25% of the population that are diehard capitalists that we won't be able to convert to socialism? We won't be able to convert to communism. And when they sat there and talked about it, 25 million people. And do you know what the conversation was? They were trying to decide how to kill 25 million people. And
Okay, hold on. Let me stop you. The thing is, moral values are tied to
uh,
socialism. Okay, capitalism has no religious moral values attached to it. That's actually a good thing, but it can be a bad thing.
of
But
course, of
but
course.
but 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 here's the thing. With socialism, they use these falsetto moral values to sell
Yes.
you a pack of lies.
That's how they suck you in. But we all know in every socialist country, in every communist country, they hate religion.
Okay.
They hate morals.
All right.
They hate that
So
stuff.
let's bring it
But
let's bring it back again because the thing is I want to talk about this the founder of Alibaba. Alibaba is the Chinese component or Chinese version of Amazon. Okay.
Amazon, yes.
Jack Ma is the founder of Alibaba. Now, he said in America, e-commerce is dessert. In China, it's the main course.
It's the main course. Very good.
Now,
Yes,
I'm
that's
gonna
true.
say this several times throughout this conversation. The U.S. and its tech companies are looking to out China China. What that means is that they want to use their methods of control and oppression and do it even better, but from a technological standpoint.
Point. But here's something else that's kind of complicated. When it comes to a lot of the software, America is still at the forefront of the software. But when China gets it and they implement it, they can force it on people. See, America can't force anything on anybody. You know, we choose to do PayPal, we choose to use Amazon, etc. But over there, they can either force it on you, or it's such a huge market and they make so much money off the initial, it gives them enough money to do other things right away. So just the sheer size of China. The other thing that my brother Roscoe that's in this document that's really deep is that one of the large tech companies over there, they do a lot of the games, like 25 out of 25 of the number one apps in games, they're all 17 come from one company. And one of the things they were talking about is that in China, you know, TikTok and all those are made by this company. Well, in China, the Chinese government said, you know what, this is immoral, and they're not even allowed to use that stuff over there. So at least even in China, they these companies have reigns. But when they go to other countries, especially like in the continent of Africa, we saw this when they went to Nigeria. They didn't have there were there. It was no holds barred. They can do whatever they want. Same thing with us. So when you realize these people are trying to buy into your government, when you realize these people are buying into your economy, and you think like, okay, it's great, it's just a game. No, they're selling that facial recognition software that's on TikTok. They're giving that to the government. So this is how they court our government by giving them shit they
So,
want.
okay,
So
the problem with slowing them down is Americans have a good enough mentality, right? It works, it's fine. You don't have to upgrade this thing. Now, in China, good enough is not as popular because they just yes man everything. And so in China, e-commerce leapfrogs mass retail, right? And
yes,
mobile banking leapfrogs retail banking. Online video leapfrogs TV. The smartphone leapfrogs the PC. So what you're having here is this country that is the People's Republic of China. I'm going to keep saying it. That the name tells you it's a communist country. The People's Republic of China is a country that is full of citizens that do as they're told because they are oppressed. You cannot forget this that China is still a communist country, right? So
yes,
here you
yes.
have a democracy or technocracy that we live in now that is looking to model itself now off of a communist country. That's hella dangerous.
But that's the hope. That's what. Okay, this is the reason we bring up socialism and communism all the time, and Marxism. And you see that this woman who's one of these women that start Black Lives Matter, they claim to be Marxists. Then you got celebrities like LeBron James. I'm reading Malcolm X's autobiography, but he's hanging out with Bill Clinton and all these Black Lives. Look, Black Lives again. We always bring this up. Black Lives Matter, the movement. I'm down for that because I believe Black lives do matter. But Black Lives Matter as an organization, yeah, gotta separate the two. And this is not by mistake. The reason they got Antifa, the reason they're doing this stuff is because they're trying to gradually put socialism and communism on you. And last but not least, um, like I said, me and Roscoe talked about. There's a book that came out like 75 years ago or so. It's called "Color, Communism, and Common Sense." It's about it was a black man that was in the Communist Party because he thought the communists, again, like Roscoe said, were moral and they cared about his people. No, what it is the communist agitators understood that race was the biggest thing in America that could be exploited. And because America has this major racist past, and we have all these different races here, they knew they could exploit that, and that's what they've been doing for a long time. And we see this going on right now. And don't get me wrong, I there are racist behaviors. George Floyd shouldn't have died, but we shouldn't be tearing down every city in America because of it. Now, here's the deal that you must understand that communism is not by accident, and they're doing this stuff on purpose, and they've infiltrated different parties. Now, what this whole technocracy thing is it's a way of you asking for it. It's a way to present it to you where you instead of them beating you over the head with it, you'll ask for it. Like, oh my God, I don't feel like driving. That's a great thing. Oh, you know what? I'm not safe to drive. I'm not smart enough to drive. And yes, this is how it happens. That is something just as small as driving can mess around and mess up our economy. And they don't mind messing up our economy as long as they make a little bit of money. And the next thing you know, it's one world government because everybody's asking for the same thing.
Okay, so when you're dealing with China, you're dealing with a very old civilization that's still intact.
Yeah.
And they have an old type of thinking. They have 10-year plans, 20,
Mm,
50, 100-year
100
plans,
plans. Yes.
1,000-year plans. This is what you are up against. You got to understand. See, okay, consider it like this. This is a Cold War. This is a Cold War between the United States and China. And like it or not, you are involved in this because you are a consumer and a citizen in the United States. But consider this. So let's go back further than a Cold War. Consider this as something from the time of a great emperor, Genghis Khan. These people are rolling at you with a large army that are going to rape and pillage everybody in your neighborhood. But they're not going to do it physically to you. They're going to do it to your bank account. They're going to do it to you psychologically. They're going to do it in a way where they send you weird shit in the mail like seeds to plant that'll take over the vegetation in your neighborhood and fuck it up. This type of thinking is a slow Chinese water torture drip on your forehead. It is not something that happens right away.
It's
It's
not blatant.
it's things like in this document that it discusses how they are seeking to manipulate the entertainment industry to control what we see and what we think about. So therefore, they're trying to force their way of thinking, the communist Chinese way of thinking, not the old cool Chinese way of thinking, on us. Now, but let's talk computer chips for a second. So Taiwan is a territory that China always wanted to control. And they want to reunite Taiwan with China. And for them, it's a non negotiable issue. Deng Xiaoping, he basically said that China will wait 100 years to reunify Taiwan with China. Why? Because it's the third biggest semiconductor maker in the world. They make computer chips. All right. It's in our phones, it's in laptops, everything. All right. So if they can do that, they have a huge market share of making computer chips for the rest of the world. So that's power to them. That's rolling into another country with soldiers and battering rams and catapults and taking over shit. That's how it's being done with technology. So therefore, there is a war happening, but you don't see it unless you have the eyes to see it. But
I think
go ahead.
I think one of the things that people don't understand is so much of this their technology and their techniques we actually did first. And when I say we, I mean America. We've done it to other countries. And for some reason we discard this stuff or we don't think that anybody has the balls to do it to us. You know, we all know 9/11 was an inside job, but the whole idea that we were so arrogant that nobody can touch us, Nobody can march over here with guns. Yeah, but they supposedly hijack some planes. What that means is that when you're that arrogant, that you're vulnerable. And right now, America is still arrogant as if this is we're the 1963 America where we really were the biggest dog on the block. But instead we act like we have this mentality that we're still the biggest dog on the block, but don't we don't make the money. We're not number one in education. We're all the things that people that that our goofy ass president talks about, we're not anymore.
Okay,
And so
check this out. So, staying on computer chips for a second, the Chinese or the People's Republic of China, they're building this one belt road, okay, which will
yep,
go all through Asia into the Middle East. All right.
yep, yep.
So this area they want to like move into, basically it covers, or the area they want to go through, which would be most advantage to them, goes through an area in China called Xinjiang, and it's home to a minority group that wants to like basically separate themselves from China. They're Uyghur Muslims, okay, and these people are being held in an open air prison. Now, technology comes in this because they're using facial recognition software and AI to
Already.
control these people. All right. So now in China, in Beijing, and in like parts of Hong Kong, they're using facial recognition systems for security to get in and out of buildings. You don't need a key fob no more. You just use your face. They're using their facial recognition to get in and out of buildings.
But this also goes back to what you said about social engineering. But the what you call they call that the new Silk Road. That new Silk Road is they're basically saying these are the old trade routes that we used to own
Yep.
1,000 years ago, and so now we deserve to own them again. And it segues all the way into North Africa.
But
North
hang
Africa.
on, before you get to Africa, what they want to do is they want to use that to pressure the people in Xinjiang. So they're
Yeah,
using the excuse of we're building a road through here to suppress, corral, and jail these people and kill these people. Some of them are in concentration camps. There are concentration camps in China, and nobody is talking about this. Just like nobody's talking about slavery in Libya.
people keep bringing it up, but nobody talks about it. Talks about it. A solution. What are we going to do about it? This that's an international issue. No, they're not even talking about it in that fashion. America killed off Gaddafi, and look what happened. There was a vacuum, and slavery sucked in. Look, the bottom line is that China does not have our best interests. Going back to Clinton, going back to when one of our planes landed over there and they gave it back empty, took all the technology out. Going back to some of the products were coming over here to America. Toothpaste had salmonella in it. China has been attacking
And
us
heavy
for
metals. It had
years.
heavy metals in it too.
Yep, yep, yep. That's real. All that you can Google these things. We're not talking about something that's made up. You can Google these things, and China has been attacking us for a very, very long time in subtle ways. And this goes back to what Roscoe was saying about their tactics. They have the long game. Okay, so they won't confront you to your face. They had a huge navy, but they still know they can't beat us that way. But they definitely can beat us. They can pencil with us. They can beat us on our pockets. They can beat us with technology. They can sell us chips that will take over other shit. They will sell us technology that sometimes works and sometimes doesn't. But we're still dependent on it.
Okay, check
And
this out. So, Eric Schmidt is the former CEO of Google. He now is the head of the newly formed National Security Commission on Artificial Intelligence. So, he is working with the NSA and the CIA and other government entities to come up with new types of AI. See, okay, people use AI all the time and they're not even thinking about it. Okay, FaceTime, TikTok, and Snapchat. Everybody with these little like dog face and like kitty cat ears and all this cutesy pie bullshit is just like Pokemon Go. It's real cute and fluffy on the subsurface, on the surface, but underneath the subsurface, there's a really dark program. There's a really dark game being played on top of the other, underneath the other game. So people have to understand that there's large government entities that are working on AI, and AI is being trained on us right now. AI is being trained on people. They're just giving out away all the information. For example, there was this goofy little Facebook thing where it's a 10-year challenge, and you post a picture of yourself, 10 years ago. All you did was update the facial recognition systems for the government for free. You did it for them, dummy. And nobody was thinking about that because, it's fun. We can get caught up with everybody and keep track of everybody. Okay, whatever. Let's talk about three companies in China that are really powerful. They call them the big three. There's Baidu, Alibaba, and Tencent. So Tencent is kind of like Facebook. They're known for social platforms and gaming, and they created WeChat. But it's also the largest gaming company in the world. 60% of all mobile time in China is spent playing on their gaming platforms.
Yes.
Now, Alibaba, like I said earlier, is the Amazon and eBay of China. Now, of course, China has a huge population, so they're going to put up big numbers. But, for example, they Tencent is worth 504 billion. Alibaba is worth 470 billion. And the last one of the big three is Baidu. They're worth 78 billion. That is the Google, the search engine of China. So these three companies make up a huge part of the Chinese GDP when it comes to tech. And I mean the GDP in general. And then, see, you got to understand, like, there's international expansion, but then there's the consequences. So when you move into the entertainment realm, people are using all this cheap Chinese stuff. Like, I'm a filmmaker, so I go on to work on film sets, and there's all these cheap Chinese LEDs everywhere, and there's wireless DMX lighting, and it's of poor quality because it creates this EMF dirt, this EMF noise because it's so cheaply made. So then you have all of this cheap Chinese stuff that's causing unseen electronic EMF pollution. Then you got to wonder, it's like, okay, well, perhaps this is planned, even if it isn't planned. All their poorly constructed stuff is causing havoc around the world, but in the United States, especially because we're the biggest consumer of Chinese products. But let's talk about the entertainment stuff for a second. So, for example, you have DJI. DJI is well known to anybody who has a drone or wants the best drone. And the most popular drones are made by DJI. And that's a Chinese company. And I mean, they were the first to, like, build a globally dominated consumer brand that everybody uses. So that's how they're well known, but they're worth 15 billion. And then you have BYD. And BYD is they're like the world's leading electrical vehicle market. And so they manufacture a lot of vehicles. Now, when you think of electric vehicles, you think Tesla. Yes, Tesla is probably the best well-made vehicle, but not the biggest electric vehicle maker. And their value is 21 billion. Then you have Xiaomi. Xiaomi is the fastest growing smartphone company in the world. Again, because China puts up a lot of numbers and they sell a lot of this stuff overseas. Then you have the entertainment, the gaming sector of China that's making a shit ton of money. And then you have the AI surveillance companies. That's the dangerous stuff. That's the dark side. And those are the companies that are working in lockstep with the People's Republic of China's government. Because listen, when you have a government that has a ministry of this and a ministry of that, that's real socialist, Marxist, communist sounding type shit. Okay? So just a little something for you there. But I mean, China's surveillance boom, it created an anchor and a customer for a cloud machine vision services, birthing companies like SenseTime, YouTube, Face Plus Plus, CloudWalk, and others. So these companies with this huge data source is feeding it to the government. Of course, they're not going to like keep this stuff to themselves. Oh no, no, no. So all this information, their biggest customer is the government or police departments all around China. Anyway, like I was saying, I mean it's huge. It's a huge, huge machine, and they want to copy that. They're copying that here in America, and we see the implementation with the coronavirus and this contact tracing. So
Look, the issue is we keep talking about social engineering. We keep talking about these different things that are being done. And the other thing is like you can research the stuff. So many times we give you information, and this is one of the things we're talking about is that look, China is doing this. A lot of the stuff they're doing, they're not even doing on their home soil because their government won't let them. They'll do it someplace else and bring the wealth back. So the idea that we're going to give up our own rights just because we want to play a video game, the idea that we'll give you our facial recognition, give you our face just to turn on a phone, but the whole time we're giving up our rights. You just saw it's all over Facebook where this woman bought her daughter a bra that was brand was pink and it had a tracker in it. And again, we know that that tracker stuff is because the sex trafficking our kids. But what I'm saying is we're giving up our rights. We're giving for convenience, for the idea of safety. Everybody has a cell phone. Back in the day, my mom gave me a dime, and if you get lost, baby, you call me. But no, we don't do that anymore. We have cell phones. We have apps on there to track our children. We have apps to track ourselves. We don't use cash anymore. You don't use cash, so there's no privacy whatsoever. Everybody knows where you are all the time. You can't do anything. And then, but here's how they're going to get you. They're going to tell you, well, if you're not doing anything illegal, why does it matter? Or if you're not committing a murder,
first of
you're
all,
out.
if you think like that, if that's how you think, if you think it's okay for them to police you in that way, then you deserve to be a slave.
uh, that's complicated because some people don't realize they're slaves. But the issue is that all the things that make you an individual are going to be erased, and you're going to be a group. And here's the other thing: if all of us are in our homes and we're not socializing, you keep hearing about all these kids are going to be born. Well, people don't know how to talk and have sex anymore. They don't go on dates. They don't do anything. The pussy's drying up, and what it is that people don't even realize that we've always talked about the government wanting to have population control and lower the population and these different things, and we're like, damn man, that's never going to happen. But it's going to happen now because you're scared to go outside. You're scared to socialize. You can't have more than 10 people in a building. But and here's the other part: there's other countries that are doing it differently, and they're doing just fine. I saw, and this shit won't bother you. But instead, we're told that we have to be 6 feet away. Now we're told that 6 feet doesn't work. Now we're told that they need to reevaluate that. Now we're told, yeah, and so you don't know who to believe, and you don't know which candidate to vote for, and you don't know this and you don't know that, and
But see, here's the thing though. Here's the thing. Because they're running up against a resistance and they're having to like recalibrate this. And they're trying to use the Chinese model, but the Chinese model don't work in the state of fucking Texas. The Chinese
no,
model
no, no,
the
real. That's real.
the
That's real.
Chinese model does not work in the Midwest. The Chinese model does not work with people in California that give zero fucks. The Chinese model does not work in the streets of Atlanta. It doesn't fucking work. Now, the problem is you get pushback in the form of protest. Some of that is astroturf. There's fake grassroots like Black Lives Matter. And then you have people that generally are angry and they want to push back. But here is the thing: you have to elevate beyond that. You have to elevate beyond that form of protest because you have to show them that I see you, bitch. You got to work harder to fool me. You have to show them that I can see through your disguise. I can see through this upspeak, if you know what I'm saying, because then if you do, if you have enough bytes in your system, then you can download our app and you can have a much more pleasant experience. Yeah, fuck off with all
Look,
that.
people are running for office for the wrong reason. We need legitimate people in office. Don't be afraid to take part in your government. And that this is by design. They're making you think like, hey, I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. Or or everybody who runs for government, they're corrupt. Okay, so if they're corrupt, then you run and you change it or you fix it. But the fact is this, that the way people don't get, like I said, this socialism shit, it's not easier for you as a person. It's easier for the government. You see, these people are too young. They don't remember the stories when the wall came down and in Germany came together. They don't remember the stories, what people had to do. And toilet paper. See, you think there was a run on toilet paper? That's one of the things that they used to reward you with. When you worked in this communist state, they would give you toilet paper. And if they didn't like you, they give you 2 pieces of toilet paper. If they liked you, they give you 6 rolls. So people would be
But
in lines
but
for
but
toilet paper.
here's the thing though. This is why it's so important to have historical perspective.
Perspective on,
But
yes, yes.
that's why the older generation is so important. That's why you got to have, older people in your family you can talk to, who can tell you, hey, shit was real. Like motherfuckers had to ration some shit. If you have a young, dumb population, you can do whatever the fuck you want to them.
Yes, because they have no reference point. They don't look. I think one of the things that by destroying the family, we always say that whatever they do to black people, they do to everybody else next. By destroying the black family, you don't know your history. You don't have a point of reference. You don't know how to apply yourself or where to apply the might or muscle. But now they've done it to everybody. And so right now, since you have all these kids having kids, they don't have a connection with their parents. There's nobody to guide them, and their parents are competing for the same dick and pussy, the same money, the same clothes, the same fashion, the same attention. You know, so you don't have guidance. People don't realize that asking for socialism is a bad thing. Oh man, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't understand. I'm like, well, okay, so if you want socialism because the government's corrupt, well, isn't the government going to be corrupt under socialism? No, man, it's because you're right. Or what happens is that people don't know they're dumb, and that's a big problem. When you don't realize you're stupid, you can't fix it. You can't quench that
You
thirst.
don't know what you don't know.
And if you don't know what you don't know, you don't know what you need to learn. A great man, a great woman understands. I know what I know. I know my expertise, so I know I need to work on this. These people aren't doing it, but they're marching. They're tearing up cities. They're breaking stuff down. They're like, oh, we'll burn it down, and what's going to take its place? Or here's the problem. Say we burn up these 3 or 4 major cities. Trust me, China will have no problem sweeping in, buying up that property, and fucking around and making you a slave, making you a communist person in this society, thinking that, hey, I'm fine, they're taking care of me. Nobody wants to take care of you. You need to take care of yourself. You need to buy property. You need to invest. You need to make yourself better and make your kids better. And here's a problem right now. Our kids ain't going to have no social skills when this shit is over because they're going to school online and they're asking questions online. They're not going around people. They're not building up their immunity. So all because of a disease that came out of China. So you mean to tell me that this was not by accident? Or excuse me, this might not have been by accident? Hell, we're talking about China on viruses. We're talking about China for computers.
Right.
We're talking about China for technology.
Right.
And we're talking about China for a government plan.
A pattern forming here. The
They're
People's
attacking
Republic of China, the People's
is
Republic
attacking
of
us.
China is attacking America over and over, and nobody is seeing this. Now, of course, people in the military see this, but as far as like as the common person is, the common person doesn't want to think like that. They don't like having those kind of thoughts because it takes them away from their video games. It takes them away from their Snapchat. It takes them away from the thirst traps on IG.
It's a hustle, ladies and gentlemen. And it's much easier to take somebody over when they want you to take them over. And like I keep telling you, whatever they do to the black folks, they practice it on everybody else. And one of the problems with the black population in America, we have that battered woman syndrome. You hear black folks repeat the dumbest shit, like, "Oh, we need gun control. Oh, we need this." That's because that's what your oppressor told you. When the husband beats the woman, she's like, "Oh man, he won't beat me again." But I shouldn't have dropped that plate. That's how we are talking. And so what we need to recognize as America is that it works. That this oppressive stuff works, and eventually they're going to do it to everybody. Well, what's going to happen when the oppression is not coming from our own people, our own government, but it's coming from an outside source? It's China, and we've been breastfed on their technology. We've been breastfed on everything, and by them giving us more, they're giving us more technology for free, but that giving it to us free, they're taking such a toll. And you're hearing these companies have super numbers, and like I said. Like when my brother Roscoe is telling you guys about these crazy numbers, 500 billion here, 400, they're trillion-dollar companies, but they make a lot of money initially in China, but then they take that and they invest it in other companies. They own 30% of this company, they own 30% of that company over here in America. I remember back in the late 80s, early 90s, that was a big thing that China's buying up America. And I did a report on it in college where basically they're like, hey, that's a hustle because the Dutch own more of America than China does. China only owns 25%. And Americans only own like 14%. The rest was Dutch and I forgot what other what other white folk country. But that that's crazy. But now China, like, okay, we can't buy your property, we can't buy your buildings, we can't buy your baseball teams. What we will do is we'll sell you technology, and we'll get you hooked on it. And by getting you hooked on it, you'll fall in line with our social engineering. Then you'll fall in line with our fictitious problems, our fake, our what's the word, the fake problems, the fake attacks. You'll fall straight in line with that, and we'll take over your government from within, and then you'll become our bitch. And that's what's happening. We're becoming their bitch. And this technology, like I said, we keep saying that technology because that's the truth. That's how they're doing it.
That
They
listen,
couldn't
listen,
beat us.
listen. There is a document. There is a quote that's going around, and they're saying in this quote, the quote is AI is going to create the way for the next big boom. It's going to create AI is going to create the next fourth industrial revolution. That's what's going on. It's creating the next industrial revolution.
Let me explain what that means. What that means is that this is such a big industry builder, wealth builder, that everybody wants to be part of it. But when that happens, there are a lot of people that get killed on the way, and that influences governments. It influences whole societies, and that's been the issue with us. We've had several industrial revolutions, and the first one, we had kids working, losing limbs and shit.
In
You know what I'm saying? We had
factories. That's where the
in
child labor
factories.
laws came from.
Yeah, same. You know, people always talk about, we need to use cleaner forms of electricity. We're working on it, but we're not there yet. But look at these small African countries. Look at these small European countries where they don't have all the electricity. They got women like hand cranking pumps. They got little girls and women actually cranking shit, making electricity. Trust me. Everybody wants to get off fossil fuels as soon as we can. Yeah, but we ain't there yet. And who gets oppressed? The minority, the women, the black people, the poor people. They're the ones who are going to be oppressed, making this stuff happen. So that's how this industrial revolution happened in the past. Well, it's going to happen the same way again. It's going to crush people underneath it. And the problem is, we're warning you that you're going to give up your rights just to get some free shit. Just look at some porn online. And the ramifications will be everlasting. And the thing is, we've always beat these guys in the past. We've always beat the socialists. We've always beat the communists because everybody had the ability to work and gain and recognize that, okay, I don't like where I am, but I can get someplace else different. We're not doing that anymore. We're saying I don't like where I am, and it's America's fault. And don't get me wrong, America has done my people wrong, but my people can work out of it. My people were better off when we were by ourselves and allowed to have our own communities, like everybody else has been allowed to have their own community. And instead, our oppressor makes so much money off our back. The colonizer makes so much money off our back that they want to make sure that we don't fuck around and figure this shit out and make a way for ourselves. So when you recognize this how it works, then you need to fix it. You don't need to just throw it away. You need to fix it and make it work correctly. And that's what's going on right now. We're not trying to fix it. We're just trying to throw it away. We're just trying to have somebody else take care of us. We're looking for more parents. We're looking for government to be our fucking parents. And you want to be a 36-year-old living on your mom's couch playing video games. You're a piece of shit, you lazy bum. Cut that shit out.
Yeah. And so, really, the way forward, the way to look at this, the way to look at the advancement of AI is you have to look under the hood of the apps and the programs that you are using. You have to really ask yourself, what good is this really doing me? What am I giving away for free? Nobody ever reads those documents where it asks you here, sign this. This is our disclosure agreement. Sign this,
Hmm.
and then nobody reads it. They scroll to the bottom and they click I agree, but they don't read that fine print. They
They
don't
sold their soul.
understand. They sell
They,
their soul and all their data and their digital shadow, and they don't care. And they're like, I have nothing to hide. Yes, you do. You have a whole lot to hide. As a matter of fact, it's called freedom and rights. You need to hide that away so nobody can steal it because they listen, you got your window open, you sleeping with your windows open at night and you just so comfortable. But guess what else is coming into that window beside the breeze? Thieves. A thief is in your house stealing your shit while you
peeping
while you,
Tom.
while you were just enjoying a balmy 70-degree breeze at night. snoring your ass off, and this motherfucker's all up in the house taking all the jewels, all that shit. And you're you know what? You're not complaining because it's comfortable and it's convenient for you to have that window open. That's what's going on. You're so complacent with the way things going on that you don't react until it's too
It's
late.
too late. It's too
Everybody
late.
is just reactionary, just reacting to everything. You called me a nigga. You did this. You just reacting.
Mm.
No proaction at all. Just reacting to everything. And a lot of this racial stuff that's going on is being cranked up artificially. They're probably like posting up, and putting things on these 5G towers and little, transmitter base stations that are cranking subliminal messages into the air through your phones. They're cranking this angry combative energy into everybody, and it comes around during election cycles. If you don't think this is going on, you're a fucking fool. Because the United States government has been busted in St. Louis on the tops of buildings in the city, dumping chemicals onto American citizens just to see what would happen. It's been done so many times. The Tuskegee experiment went on for years and years until they were busted and exposed. These people do not give a fuck about you. These people that you're so adamantly
Doughy eyed for
that
want to
that
cry
that you're
about.
so adamantly arguing the pronunciation of Kamala Harris, or it's Kamala. Bitch, I don't care what it is. She jailed so many black men. It's ridiculous. She hates black people. She hates the fact that her dad is black. Okay? She has no connection to the black community. Only when it's time to shuck and jive for the fucking cameras. All right? So all you Negroes out there that want to vote her in, dig up her record, all right, as State Attorney General of California. Dig that up and do some reading. Pour yourself some coffee or tea and have a good read of that, because that's a real page turner or screen scroller, whatever you're doing. The thing is that
But
these, hold on, hold on, hold on, wait, 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 wait,
don't
wait.
leave it.
These,
Don't leave
these,
it.
I'm not leaving it, because these politicians that you project all of your insecurities and hopes onto, they railroaded the Patriot Act right up your ass. All right? And they used it under the guise of fear. And
Bush
then
and Obama.
and
Bush and
then
Obama.
Bush and Obama. Listen, Republicans and Democrats are doing this to you. And you so worried about, well, I'm black, I'm a Democrat, they're white, they're Republican. They are prostitutes on two opposite sides of one street selling the same thing, okay? And you just eating that pussy up. It's so delicious.
Mm-mm.
Listen, you need to stop. You need to check yourself, everybody. For real. This whole political game is a joke. You think because Biden and Kamala Harris are going to win, that shit is going to change? This is what happens. When you have a Republican in your White House, those motherfuckers are the white people that call you nigga to your face. When you have a Democrat in the White House, those are the people that call you nigga behind your back and create laws like Bill Clinton to cause black people more suffering. Okay? Listen, dude, don't get caught up in this bullshit. For real. For real. It doesn't change. If you want to
But
make change, it's not through voting. I'm telling you. Listen, I will be the rebel and tell you that it's not through voting. All right? The way,
look,
hold,
look.
wait. The way it's going to change is through money. Money. Okay? Because Rockefellers are money. And they created a whole lot of change and hope for reptilians. So the thing is that don't get caught up in this whole voting thing. Now listen, on the local level, yes, yes. It locally, you can do a lot through voting, through city hall, through the state. You can do a lot because your state laws really make a difference. Now people talk about, oh, don't be so pessimistic about voting. Really? Because those people you voted in office didn't even read the Patriot Act. They didn't read the coronavirus relief bill that has all types of wicked fuckery in there. Bill Barr, the
Uh,
the
how,
U.S.
how,
Attorney General, is creating a pre-crime Minority Report style form of detaining American citizens without any questioning.
Look, the whole thing I was going to say about the Kamala Harris reason is so important that you need to read about her because even CNN said Joe Biden don't look good. Joe Biden ain't gonna make it in a year. Joe's probably gonna die in office. So if that happens, Kamala is gonna swoop right in and take your weapons and arrest a lot more black people and serve her white masters. Now,
Yes. She married
I,
to a
I
white man. She loved white men.
well, the only black man she loved was with the mayor of San Francisco when she fucked him, and he was married. But we all know about that. But here's the issue. What you must understand when you talk this Democrat Republican shit, we always say the same thing. Democrats are the racists. The Republicans are the bigots. And you don't know the difference, so I'm gonna lay it down. My brother just told you the Democrats make laws that fuck us up for years. Um, the Clintons, Bill Clinton. We keep bringing it up when Muammar Gaddafi gave Farrakhan $1 billion. Bill Clinton went to Farrakhan's house and said, "Nah, nigga." When when Hillary Clinton was Secretary of State, she made sure to kill Muammar Gaddafi. What was Gaddafi doing? He was uniting these 22 African nations to take them off the dollar standard. The reason that's racism. That set black folks back over 100 years. There would have been a black bank over there in Africa where we could have went to them for money and not have to go to the European nations for money. Not have been taken over. So that's what you got to understand. Now, the bigots, yeah, they don't want you living with them. They don't want you living next to them. They don't want you working there. So yeah, I don't mind a bigot. But it's that racist motherfucker you need to worry about. Is that person that's going to actually pass these laws? And like Malcolm said, he said, if I was born American, why do I need laws? The Italians ain't got no laws saying that he's an American. Polish ain't got no laws, but a black man needs a law to say he's an American. That means you're not an American. That's a problem. So you need to recognize bullshit before you step in it, because if you step in it and you didn't on your shoe, it's too late. So that's
No,
what we're
no, they
doing
they
right now.
walking around with the shit on their shoes. Talking about, you smell that?
Smiling,
You smell that?
smiling like a motherfucker,
Yeah.
blaming somebody
Man, it
else.
sure does stink in here. Yeah, motherfucker, you got shit on your shoes.
Yeah. So we're trying to warn you that you guys think that Kamala Harris, because she's black, because she has dark complexion, means that she's for us. Being black doesn't mean somebody's for you. But he only picked her because of her color. He didn't pick her because
Yes.
of her qualifications. He did not pick her. He picked her because of her color, so that you would think that he's just like Barack
Listen,
and all this
man.
other
Listen,
bullshit.
listen. If you listen to the way the guy talks, man, he is full of shit. That motherfucker don't like black people at all. He got on damn the morning show talking about, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. Fuck out of here, man. The
Yeah,
fuck out of here with that silly shit.
but that's the same kind of shit the Clintons used to do. The first black president. Man, what kind of shit is that?
No, and no. And that's house
Yeah,
niggas talking like that.
but hold it. Let's get on the Clintons. Let's not forget the 600 million in oil fracking that David Rodham that they gave her brother the contract to. Don't Let's not forget the 600 million they took out of Haiti. Let's not forget everywhere they go they drain money and they walk around but we keep voting for them, or we want them. We want this person here and there. Look,
But see,
no,
but the issue is, here's the issue now. We have had a sea change, and so the battlefield is no longer in oil fields. It's
yeah, oh, yes,
it's
that's true.
virtual. It's over technology, and these same people with the same ideology will vote and allow China more rights.
It's
They'll allow them
yeah.
to own toll roads in New Jersey. They'll allow them to own toll roads in Texas and in
Here's
Indiana.
hold it. Here's the problem. We ain't telling you vote for Trump. We ain't saying that. We're just trying to tell you at least be realistic about what's going on. Your boy Biden has been in China's pocket for years. Same thing with Hillary. And don't get me wrong. Republicans got money from China too. But I'm trying to warn you that you know don't give up your rights. I ain't telling you who to vote for. I don't know who to vote for. I'll probably vote independent. But I'm trying to tell you that yeah, Trump is an asshole, but he's an American asshole. He's a bigot, but he's an American bigot. I can deal with him. But when it comes to Hillary and these other people, that they by killing off Gaddafi, you stopped us from progressing. You stopped us from getting our own bank. You stopped us from getting our own money. And that's the same thing when you burnt down Tulsa. Um, they called it Black Wall Street, but it was before Wall Street. When you did that, you stopped. They were going to start a black bank. Anytime we try to get independent, they make sure the pimp makes sure that you're dependent on him. So you got to recognize a pimp when you see one. These people have been pimping us. Look, China is the same way, and they're just bigger at it, and they're better at it, and they're better. They're much better funded.
Because they come
That's the
from a
problem.
peasant culture and they have thousands of years of experience of oppressing
Practice,
people.
practice at oppressing people. So they know how to do it subtly, and they know how to do it unsubtly. They know how to do it abrasively. So trust me, they know that Americans ain't going to willingly do shit unless they think they're getting something for it.
Listen,
Uh,
for the people that want to read this document for themselves, it's called Chinese Tech Landscape Overview. It's an NSCAI presentation. It's a PDF. You can find it online, and it was released 2 weeks ago as part of a Freedom of excuse me. It was released 2 weeks ago as part of a Freedom of Information Act request, and so they released this paper, and this paper was put together by a group of tech companies working with the federal government. And so basically, it was circulated amongst them, the tech companies, so that they would see like what the way forward, how they would attack the China situation, but only from a business standpoint and not a patriotic standpoint. So these tech companies, again, they do not have they don't have your best interests in heart. They don't. They have money on the mind. And hey, that's
period.
fine. That's capitalism. But you are playing a dirty, dirty game because you are giving away people's rights and using technology to do this. And the crazy part about it is some of these things aren't even voted in because there is no legislation to block some of these things. Like, for example, like when it comes to intellectual property, that whole part of the law it's 25 years old. You know, started with copyrights and trademarks, but it spread into tech, and they barely know how to wrangle this new area. But what I'm saying is that you have to read and you have to get a hold of information like this, and you have to stay abreast of new advancements in this the technological landscape, because AI is starting the next industrial revolution, and it's happening now. Question is, where are you going to be in this landscape? Are you going to
no,
be are you going to be, somebody in the old west, just, working on a dude ranch, handling cows? Or are you going to be the Native American that's getting just run the fuck over by these white people taking over shit? Or are you a Native American that's fighting back against these motherfuckers? Where are
I,
you going to be in that?
the biggest question when it comes to this is not just where you're going to be at, is how you're going to view it. See, the whole thing is that
Which is where
whenever
you're going
these,
to be.
no, I'm saying where these whenever you have these big movements, it's a shitload of money to be made. So people will jump in there, make a bunch of money, and then all of a sudden forget their old alliances. Like, if you're jumping in just to make money, make your money, but then spend it how you want to spend it. You're like, so
But
many of
no,
these
no, wait, wait,
athletes.
wait, stop. Hold on, hold on. Don't spin it how you want to spin it. Let's not be so let's laissez faire
No,
with
no,
this shit.
that,
Hold on.
that's not
What I'm
that's not what I
saying
meant.
is, arm yourself, build your wealth, so that you can
And
pass it to your heirs, because
that
they are going to need it. Because black people, we got too many generations of pissing away money and not investing in anything.
well, let me clear up what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that we know this is a revolution coming, and if we take part of it, don't become part of it. Like, make your money and then spend it in a different area, or like you said, pass it
Or
down.
or
What
or
happens?
but hold on. You can be part of it. You can actually be part of a resistance, but you can use technology to arm yourself and to fight back. You know what? Here's the thing. So this is China we're talking about. All right, cool. Use what China is using on you. The Art of War. Read that book. Read the, you know what? Okay, we got two books that you need to read from this show. The first book you need to read is the book that Duct Tape mentioned earlier. All right. And that book is written by Manning Johnson. All right. Manning Johnson wrote Color, Communism, and Common Sense. You can get that in hardcover, paperback, and you can get it as a PDF online. Read that book, and it'll basically tell you about how this whole communism, Marxism, socialism bullshit ain't for you, black people. The second one is The Art of War. This multi-thousand-year-old book. You need to read it because it will help you to understand how to combat something that is greater than you, how to use the landscape to your advantage, right?
How to recognize what's being done to you.
And how to combat that in the most effective way possible. So arm yourself with information, but don't be a repository of information. Use it. Use your edge. Find a niche and exploit it, and then use that to catapult yourself to the next level of your existence, to the next stage of your existence, because you have to evolve. You will be trampled by your digital masters if you do not evolve. It is imperative that you evolve, that you continue to learn. Listen, there is no more like this riding off into the sunset. That don't exist no more. I'm not saying you need to get on the hamster wheel and just stress yourself into oblivion. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying arm yourself with information, use that information to increase your wealth, and also how to fight back and level the playing field. Because we're still at the beginning of this. All this stuff is still new. So therefore, there's still time. There's still time to stop Skynet. Go back in time and fucking get Sarah Connor, all right? And tell her, bitch, you need some cornrows, all right? That ain't shit ain't
Birth
work.
control, motherfucker. Birth
Yes,
control.
all that shit, man.
Look. Bottom line is don't be a pawn in this shit. That's what we're saying. Recognize that you're getting fucked over. Recognize that he said your vote don't matter, especially if you vote for the wrong person. So get up off your ass, get intelligent, and get active. Go fishing, go hiking. Make yourself physically stronger. That's all. I'll be
Yes.
back.
Get them two books, all right? Read them. Color Communism and Common Sense and The Art of War. Arm yourself. Fight back. There is still time to stop Skynet. Peace.
Holla.